families through the hardest times of their lives. We're Charlestown Ranson. We're here when you need us.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome in to Miller Time on this Friday. Matt Miller along with Matt Crawford. Glad to have you aboard as we put the final touches on this week of Miller Time. Hard to believe the week has gone by so quickly. We've got a full show, plenty to talk about in Major League Baseball with the Nationals and the Orioles in action last night. The All-Star game right around the corner. For the first time since the World Cup, we'll really get into it. You got a chance to talk to our first guest in today's program really before the World Cup was getting underway, correct?
No, it was right around the first couple games.
All right.
I think the first or second group had gotten underway, but not everybody had played yet. So it's been a while.
And now we are down to the final four teams with the third place game to be played tomorrow.
Yeah, but who cares about two of the four?
I don't know.
Congratulations,
But they play the game.
you come in third place. Who cares?
They get a trophy. Leave them alone.
Is it a trophy or a medal?
I don't know what it is. And then the championship game will take place on Sunday. So that'll be a good interview. A little later on as well, we'll talk more about the Mountaineer football team and their high expectations as we are joined by Adam Stilley, former center for the Martinsburg Bulldogs, was a redshirt freshman last year with that Mountaineer program and looking to get on the field a little more in competition this upcoming season. That'll be a good interview as we actually had a chance to talk with him earlier. And it's official, Frostburg State, a member of the Mountain East Conference. And we'll bring you just a little bit of the press conference, media conference today with that official announcement. But we've got to start with more of the kind of ridiculousness that comes in professional sports. Matt, take it away on this story related to an NFL player and a video game.
So Leonard Fournette came out today, and this is supposedly jokingly, but nobody has been able to confirm whether it was a joke or not, was asked if he could be taken off of Madden 19, the video game, Madden's NFL 19, because his rating on Madden was too low.
Leonard Fournette, former LSU running back, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a key part of their offense and the success that they had making that deep run into the playoffs last year that no one really saw coming. So Fournette, big back, power type back, doesn't like his rating on the Madden 19 football game. How long has that Madden game been out?
9. No, it wasn't even 9. The 25th anniversary was in 2007, I believe.
Okay.
So it was early 90s.
Man, it's hard to believe that it was that long because I can remember when that game first came out. And
was it still the little glitchiness that you'd move like a square at a time up the field?
That wasn't quite that bad, so to speak. But clearly the graphics have come a long way, to a point now where it almost looks like you're watching a video as opposed to playing a game. But no, I remember the football game where the little guys were stick figures and the ball was a pixel. So it was not round. It was a little rectangle that went through the air. So I can remember that video football game. But anyway, I knew Madden had been around a long time and obviously a very popular game. But, and I've been hearing more and more about these Madden ratings and I'm kind of like, what?
Well, it's ridiculous. The emphasis people put on a video game rating for a player is absolutely absurd. I love Madden. I've been playing Maddens. I think my first Madden game was Madden 04. So it's just one of those games that I loved playing. I'm not a huge video game player, but it was always Madden. And it was okay. It's cool to see they're that good on Madden or well, I thought he'd be better. But the emphasis now that when the ratings came out, like, I don't know when they started releasing ratings before the game, but the fact that they do is a little absurd.
First of all, take us to what is a rating. For those of us who are not video game connoisseurs and haven't played Madden in a long time, because I admit I haven't played it in a while. The machines have gotten to a point where I've got so many buttons and so many things to push with my fingers to try to pick the right play, complete the pass, run with the ball, hit this and he might spin or he might jump or he might do something else. But if you hit it too many times, he might fumble or he might get hurt I'm like, okay, too much. Overload.
The rating system is a 0 to 100. Imagine just like you're at school, a grading system.
All right.
So if you're a 74 overall in Madden, and each statistical category has how good you are. So if you're a quarterback, your completion has a rating, your speed has a rating, your stamina has a rating, your awareness has a rating. So it's detailed. Somebody actually sits there and it's probably a pretty tedious process figuring all this out, but it's from 0 to 100 like a grading scale. So if you have a 74 overall in Madden, that means that the people who created Madden think you're about an average player.
So a C, that would be like right in the middle. Figure a 10-point grading scale. If I'm in a 90 to 100, I'm an A player.
Yep, you're a top player on Madden. A 80 to 90 is you're still a really good player, but not quite at the top tier yet. 70s, right. You're a good player. You're above average, but you're not quite a superstar. And then once you get into the 60s and 50s, that's usually about the backups anyway.
And that is an indication of while you are playing the game,
how good that player will be for you. Like, for example, one of the best players ever in Madden was Michael Vick. I think it was Madden 04 was Michael Vick on the cover when he was with the Falcons still before the whole dogfighting incident.
All right.
And he was a 99 overall in Madden. And he was pretty much unstoppable. And that was a fun Madden game to play. Just because Michael Vick could do anything. The speed was there. He had the arm power. It's a cannon for an arm. So that was a fun Madden game to play just because how good they made him.
I read an article just the other day. He's playing flag football right now. Apparently the NFL Network has something going on where they are airing flag football games with former professional players, some even from other sports. I read there are a couple of NBA players who are actually playing on one of the teams. And I believe there's some amateur teams that are a part of what is going on, and they're kind of doing a tournament type setup, if I understand it correctly. I just saw an article, and the article headline was about Mike Vick still has it, and it kind of laid out a couple of plays that he made and the way that he was still throwing the football.
I mean, it's a way to keep playing. I mean, you can play flag football till you're 60 or 65.
Yes. Thanks for pointing that out.
You're welcome, because I know you still play flag football religiously on Sundays.
We'll play in the fall starting in September.
I was there for a good bit of it.
Yeah, and it's just fun. I mean, we're not overly competitive. It's just the goal is, I mean, we want to be competitive, but, we're not like playing with Michael Vick or anything.
That'd be fun, though.
That would.
Play flag football with Michael Vick.
Yeah, with any professional athlete. Yeah. You just get a taste of how really good they are. So anyway, we just kind of thought that was fascinating that Fournette, whether joking or not, was
the fact that you're going to take the time to even joke about it shouldn't matter.
Just take me out of the game, which I'm sure Madden would not do.
No.
I'm sure there has to be some kind of contractual agreement with the Players Association to even be able to use. If you look
on the back of the game, it's got the NFLPA logo on it.
Right.
So it's about what it's the reason that college football doesn't have a video game anymore.
Okay.
It's the whole rights for your name type thing, which is why the NCAA football game went away, is because players started to realize that EA Sports, who makes all the good sports games, was putting the entire roster on and using the same numbers, same size, same everything, but just not using names. And college players are going, well, that's not really fair, because you're profiting on how good we are and you're putting us in a game, but the NFL Players Association gets a cut out of that.
Right.
So,
well, what would we be if we were in the game?
I don't know.
A 30?
Probably.
Compared to those guys, maybe a 20.
Yeah.
When you consider how good those professional athletes are. It'll be interesting to see whether Fournette pulls back a little bit on his wanting to be out, or if EA Sports has any kind of comment about whether they would remove him from the game. If you're a Jacksonville fan and you like to play Madden, I would imagine you want Fournette in there if he's a 70 or an 80 or not.
Well, yeah, and again, his rating was an 87.
87? I thought it was in the 70s.
No, 87. Now, I gave the 70s as an example. His rating was an 87.
He wanted to be above that.
Apparently, I don't consider him a top-tier running back, so
right.
To me, they made a pretty good judgment when they came to his rating. But, again, it's just absurd that right now people care that much.
Well, what we care about is the World Cup. Let's transition from the American version of football to the world version of football, I guess, as you might say. We'll talk a little World Cup next on Miller Time.
Children at your feet, wonder how you manage to make ends meet. You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
Hello, this is Delegate Mike Folk, candidate for West Virginia Senate District 16. I want to extend my personal congratulations to all the Little League All-Stars this summer. As a former three-sport athlete and Shepherd football player, I understand the importance of discipline, hard work, and perseverance, something our All-Stars have in common. As you continue your journey through this summer and your life, remember this quote from Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, who said, "Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't." Best of luck and have a great tournament.
I'm Ari Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. New details on Thursday involving the allegations against LaShawn McCoy. The former girlfriend of the Bills running back told police she thinks McCoy was behind an alleged home invasion robbery that left her hospitalized. The police report says Corden was attacked by an unidentified black male dressed in black and wearing a mask who asked for specific jewelry that was given to her by McCoy. The Bills and the NFL are both looking into the matter. McCoy has denied any involvement in the attack. Elsewhere, during the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony next month, it appears there will be no mention of Terrell Owens individually. T.O. deciding to hold his own ceremony at his alma mater. And in return, the Hall of Fame will only mention Owens when addressing the entire class. Hall Executive Director Joe Horrigan says they'll mail him his jacket on Saturday and focus on the guys who are there. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa Know-How. It's officially the best week of the year. Why? Because this week only, you get 20% off at Napa. And the only thing better than quality car parts is 20% off quality car parts. Okay, so we're a little biased. But don't wait, because the 20% off sale will be over before you know it. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How. Napa Know-How. At participating stores, exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items. Offer available July 9th through July 15th.
The national debt is now over $20 trillion. What happens next? Rising inflation, drops in the dollar's value. Some experts say another crash is coming. You can fight this, not with stocks or bonds, but with gold and silver coins in an IRA from Augusta Precious Metals. Call 855-858-5807 and learn how an IRA backed by physical gold and silver can hedge against inflation. Call Augusta Precious Metals right now at 855-858-5807 and get a free gold IRA guide.
Why Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg? Because we're a name you can trust. And you can trust that you'll always find a large selection of over 400 new Chevrolets and a wide selection of new Toyotas at unbeatable prices. How unbeatable? Well, we will not be beat on any deal on any new Chevrolet or Toyota. That's right. You will not find a lower price, guaranteed. From Chevy Cruzes, Malibus, Impalas, Equinox, Suburbans, Silverados, to Toyota Yaris, Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and more. No one beats an Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota deal. And remember to check your mailbox for this month's specials and great savings. Simply put, if you're in the market or will soon be in the market for a new or newer vehicle, check out all that Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota has to offer. We're Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg or online at applevalleychevy.com. That's applevalleychevy.com. Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota, the name you can trust.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will.
And we welcome you back into this Friday edition of Miller Time. The weekend is upon us for most people. Matt and I will be here for another about hour until we can get our weekend started. Matt, you're going to the Hagerstown Suns game tonight?
Yep, looking forward to seeing a little Suns baseball in person for the first time this year.
Coming off a 6-0 victory last night, the middle game against Columbia. This will be the final game of that series where they head on the road.
Remember last year when the Columbia Fireflies came to town?
I can't say I do.
There was one Tim Tebow who was a member of the Fireflies.
That's right. He was a Firefly.
Yeah, it was the most attended series, I believe, in Suns history.
He'll be with the. He'll be down in Bowie, against the Bay Sox. I think it's this weekend. Bowie Bay Sox are my local minor league team. When I was growing up, only about a half hour from Bowie, so I still see all the Bay Sox stuff, and he'll be there this weekend, I believe.
Well, and on his way to Altoona pretty soon as well, because we have gone to Altoona to see a couple of games up there. They got a really beautiful AA facility, and so we get some emails and information from them, and they just recently sent out, hey, Tim Tebow's coming to town.
It's a big deal. He was an all-star.
Hey, did you hear how he did?
He had a double.
Yep, 1 for 4, a double in his first at bat, put 2 in play after that, had a ground out, a fly out, and then ultimately a strikeout in his last at bat. But all in all, hey, not bad.
Not bad at all. All right, let's go to the WVU Medicine Berkeley Medical Center talk line to bring in our next guest, our soccer expert, if you will. Matt and I never claimed to be huge soccer people, so we will bring in Mark Serber, formerly of USA Hockey and play-by-play guy with our own Rob Mario at one point, and for Fox out in L.A. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Doing good, thanks.
Mark, we had a chance to talk right as the World Cup was getting underway. I think a couple of teams had started to get underway, but we just kind of wanted to talk about the beginning back then, and now we're a couple days away from the final, just a day away from that third-place game. What are your thoughts of how the World Cup is shaped so far?
I think it's been one of the best and most dramatic World Cups in recent memory. You look at all the teams such as Russia, who nobody thought was even going to get out of their group, let alone past the second stage, and they were a shootout away from advancing to the semifinals. And then you take a look at the scoring of the games, and no 0-0 draws. And it's just been a sensational World Cup with twists and turns and excitement everywhere you look. And the teams who are there now certainly deserve to be there, and they've done it in an exciting fashion. No team has parked the bus, as you'd say, by getting a goal and sitting back for the next 60, 70 minutes. They've done it by going forward and playing attractive soccer. And this has just been a tournament that has everybody on the edge of their seats for every single game, and it's been a pleasure to behold.
Can you pinpoint why it has been such an exciting tournament? In other words, has the level of soccer around the world maybe risen to help bring some of these national teams closer to teams that had been ahead of them?
Yeah, the level has definitely risen. I think it's the way that the teams approach this tournament. There's really not been any team who's been uber defensive. Everybody's tried to go forward. They've tried to attack. They've scored goals. The way that they've played has been really beautiful, and just the excitement too. Every single game has really had a lot of drama about it as well.
Mark, you just mentioned that there wasn't obviously there's defense being played, but a lot more kind of a push style of offense in this World Cup. Coming from, there's a lot of soccer fans that think that that's one of the reasons they aren't huge soccer fans is because a lot of that defensive soccer being played. Do you think the way and the style of play that this World Cup has been is attracting a whole new fan base?
I certainly hope so. I mean, it's hard to tell because you lost a lot of interest when the U.S. were out of it. But I think if anybody who maybe wasn't going to be in front of the TV for this World Cup and just happened to be at the time that a game was on would be very impressed with what they saw and would find it different than, their general thoughts on the game and kind of their stereotypes of what soccer can be. And certainly they're right at certain times, but it just hasn't been in this World Cup.
You use the word drama. Some of the games that I've seen, I can't help but think of that word as I watch some of the players with minimal contact going down to the ground and really trying to draw that penalty. Have we seen that a little more in this World Cup or even less than what we've seen in the past?
No, I think we've seen it about the same amount. I think the reason it seems that we've seen more of it is because one of the world's most famous players in Brazil, Neymar, was the one who was the biggest culprit of that. And I think it's a big reason that a lot of Americans don't like soccer, and rightly so. It's kind of a frustrating part of the game, but I think it's different throughout different cultures. And I don't think it's been as bad in this tournament as it has been in other tournaments. I just think it's been the more high-profile players who have done it, therefore it gets talked about more. At the same time, some of the memes and even commercials we've seen based off of it have been hilarious. In South Africa, there's a commercial where a player gets hurt, rolls all the way out of the stadium into a KFC, and then jumps up at the till and starts to order. So we also had a Neymar alphabet with him rolling around on the floor, so I thought that was great as well. But that is something that still has yet to be addressed over all these years, and I'm not really sure of the way to do it. I think sometimes the thing gets lost is, first of all, players are wearing metal studs. And second of all, when you're running really fast and you're off balance, that's like contact, and the way you fall will really hurt. And it does take a few seconds to get yourself back together and for the pain to subside to get back up and start playing. But I do think there is an element of that game that still needs to be taken away that hasn't yet.
With the United States not having a team in this year's World Cup, how would you judge the entire United States on their involvement and their commitment to this year's World Cup?
It's been good. I think it's been really good. I mean, I was just in Kansas City this week covering stuff for the U.S. Soccer Development Academy, and it is about 100 degrees, and yet there were still people gathering outside of downtown Kansas City to watch games. And I think you've seen that around the country too. So I think that their involvement may not has been as high, and there's not that residual effect of okay, the U.S. is out, but I'm into this. I want to keep watching. But I still think that there were people willing to gather on the TV. There were people willing to take quote unquote long lunches and watch games that they wanted to see during the workday. So the interest level is high, but maybe not as high as it could have been.
We've got a couple of minutes left. Let's jump into this weekend's game coming up tomorrow, Saturday. It's the third-place game for Belgium and England. What do you see in this matchup?
Well, England's a team that nobody thought would even get this far, and the way they've done it, they've really rejuvenated a whole nation and their belief in their relationship with their national team again. So they're going to go for everything, and they've been a really fun team to watch. They're also coming up against Belgium, a team that they faced in the group stage. But at that time, it was very interesting because the loser of that game actually was going to have an easier path to the final in the knockout stages. So I think this game, both teams really wanting to win with silverware on the line, is going to be very different. In Belgium, as they showed in games against Brazil, as the other games that they played in, they are one of the most fun teams to watch. They've the most individually talented players, and on the counterattack when they're into space, they're just breathtaking. So even though it's a third-place game, I'm super intrigued by this one.
All right, Mark, we got about a minute left before we got to get into our break and let you go. But let's talk about the big game on Sunday and the other team that nobody expected to get this far, Croatia.
Yeah, Croatia really has a golden generation, and they have stellar players who play on clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona, and they've done a great job to put this together and been really resilient with 3 games that have gone the full distance in terms of extra time. And they're going to be a big test for France. France is the favorite, but in Croatia wasn't the favorite in a lot of the games they've stepped into. So this is going to be a really good final and a skillful final at that.
Who do you see winning?
I think France edges it, although it's hard to say that against Croatia team that has beaten odds, but France just has so much quality and talent in the likes of Pogba and Giroud and all their players. You could really say the same thing for. So I think France takes this one.
Do you see any French players headbutting anybody this year?
No, not this time around.
Mark Serber, we appreciate the time, and we'll look forward to talking to you at some point when the Olympics or other soccer events start to pop up.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Again, that was Mark Serber, formerly of USA Soccer, and has done several play-by-play for different soccer organizations, whether it was Fox, whether it was locally in the D.C. area. Again, used to work with our own Rob Mario in the D.C. area, so we appreciate him giving us a little bit of time over the last couple months to talk about the World Cup. And again, 2 big games this weekend.
Third place game tomorrow, 10 a.m., and the championship Sunday, 11 a.m. is when they will play that one.
All right, we got to get in our bottom of the hour break. We'll have weather news and an NBC Sports update. When we come back, we'll talk some Nationals baseball. You're listening to Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg.
CBS News Update, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein says the Russians were serious about undermining the 2016 presidential election in the United States.
They targeted state and local officials responsible for administering elections, and they sent spear phishing emails to people involved in administering elections.
Russia's foreign ministry is denouncing the U.S. indictment of 12 alleged military intelligence analysts accused of hacking into Democratic accounts in the elections. CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
The indictments were clearly timed to President Trump's impending meeting with President Putin, as if to say yet again that the evidence is clear and convincing that your government meddled with our presidential elections. This was a message from Mueller to both President Trump and Putin, the one who did it and the one who doesn't believe it.
The White House says there's still no evidence of collusion by anyone on the Trump presidential campaign, and Monday's summit in Helsinki is still on. CBS News Update, I'm Sam Litzinger.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Our Friday evening bringing very comfortable temperatures into the area as we drop back through the 70s. Fair skies. Overnight's low near 65 degrees with clear conditions on into tomorrow morning. Saturday, sunny and bright, turning warm, in fact hot by afternoon with a 90-degree high. On Sunday, warm and humid, partly sunny. Late day high 91 with a few thunder showers. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David.
I'm going to do a terrific show today, and I'm going to help people because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
And I recognize the political atmosphere we have in America today. We got wonderful talk shows like you and Dave.
We appreciate that. Thank you. That's a new commercial now.
We like ourselves, don't we? Look at that face. We love ourselves.
I mean it, guys. You bring in both sides.
And I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me.
Thank goodness for your show. They're hearing both sides.
Doug, good to see you again. It's always fun to be here, Rob. I know you meant that. I do. I like you guys. I think you all have a great talk radio, and it's always I've always enjoyed my time here.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David. What did you listen to last week? Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Could not ask for a closer match. Kevin Anderson outlasts John Isner in 6 hours and 36 minutes, 7-6, 6-7, 6-7, 6-4, and 26-24, advancing to his first ever Wimbledon final. DeMarco Murray says he is hanging up the cleats, going to retire, a three-time Pro Bowl running back, lasted 7 seasons in the league. Corey Kluber, the Cleveland ace, not going to be in the All-Star game. He received an injection in his right knee, so Blake Snell takes his spot from Tampa. Full slate of baseball games tonight, 15 in total. NBA hardwood, a signing of note. Isaiah Thomas agrees to a 1-year veteran minimum, $2 million with the Nuggets. And Marc-Andre Fleury has signed a 3-year, $21 million extension with the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
The future doesn't wait. Why should you? Blue Ridge Community and Technical College offers over 50 degree and certificate programs in education, IT, culinary arts, engineering, and so much more. Small class sizes, flexible schedules with evening and online classes with affordable tuition, plus financial aid is available to those who qualify. Now you can go to college. Visit us online at blueridgectc.edu. That's blueridgectc.edu. Stop waiting and enroll today.
Hey fans, it's Johnny Castle from your Hagerstown Suns. It's another season of minor league baseball in the Hub City, highlighted by Antietam Brewery Tuesdays, Bark in the Park Wednesdays, the ever-popular Thirsty Thursdays, fireworks and giveaways on select Fridays and Saturdays, and of course Sunday Fun Days, where kids 12 and under can run the bases following the games. It's 70 games of fun and excitement with the Washington Nationals Class A affiliate. For tickets or more information, head to HagerstownSuns.com. The Hagerstown Suns, big league baseball in your backyard.
And we welcome you back in to Miller Time on this Friday evening, along with Matt Crawford. I'm Matt Miller. You just heard that spot for the Hagerstown Suns. They're at home tonight. Zombie night on this Friday, the 13th. Hagerstown coming off a 6-0 win over Columbia yesterday. They've split the first two of the brief 3-game series and homestand for the Suns before they head back out on the road again.
Yeah, 2 shutouts, 1 for each team.
Yep, a 5-0 loss in Game 1 as Columbia took that one, a 6-0 win in Game 2 for the Suns. So we'll see if both teams can put runs on the board tonight.
You'll be there, so.
Looking forward to it.
You better see some good baseball tonight.
I hope so.
Are you going to dress up like a zombie?
I am not. I do have on my Nationals uniform, the kind of fancy one, so to speak. It's not a game-type uniform, but nonetheless, I will be rooting for the Hagerstown Suns.
You're not a Columbia fan?
Well, you know.
It's minor league baseball.
It's fascinating that you've got the two affiliates playing one another because the Columbia Fireflies are the Mets affiliate, and the Mets, don't know why I went up on that, are hosting the Nationals right now.
Yep.
Good grief. Having voice problems at times this week.
All right, while Matt figures out what's wrong with his throat, it's time for our new segment, or newish segment, a look at tomorrow in sports history. We're taking a look at the 14th of July, today being the 13th. We'll look at the 14th. 1934 is the year we are going to start with. I'm sorry, we're going to go back. 1914 is the year we're going to start with. Go 20 years back. The NL's Boston Braves start climb from last place to win the World Series. So at this point in 1914, the Boston Braves were in last place. And in October, they would be World Series champions.
So it can be done. Don't give up, Nationals fans.
Or Orioles fans. I mean,
no. Orioles, they're done.
38.5 games back.
Yeah, that is
insane.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go to 1934. The Phillies score 11 runs in 1 inning and beat the Cincinnati Reds 18-0. 1946, Cleve Bordeaux, or Boudreaux, let's go with Boudreaux, hit 4 doubles and a home run, but the Red Sox won 11-0 on Ted Williams' 3 home runs and 8 RBI.
Okay, hold on again. He hit what?
4 doubles and a home run. So went 5 for 5, I assume. Had 5 hits total. I don't know how many at-bats he had. 5 hits total, all extra bases, 4 doubles, and a home run. And Ted Williams hit 3 home runs and had 8 of the team's 11 RBI.
Wow.
That is a good hitter's duel.
Yeah,
talk about pitcher's duels. That's a hitting duel. Moving on down the list, 1951, the first color telecast of a sporting event. You know what sport it was?
Baseball. Wimbledon?
Nope. Anthony, you got any guesses? Nope.
It's got to be golf. No.
Horse racing.
I was going to say, what else is going on at this particular time?
I would not have said horse racing at all. Where are we going to go? Let's go to 1956. The Boston Red Sox, Mel Parnell no-hits the Chicago White Sox 4-0. Again, low-scoring game. We're back to those low-scoring games. Moving on down the list. 1968, Hank Henry Aaron hits his 500th home run off of Mike McCormick of the San Francisco Giants. Going on down the list even more. 1987, the 58th All-Star game. The NL wins 2-0 in 13 in Oakland. 1987, the Rookie of the Year award is renamed to honor Jackie Robinson. A year later, in 1988, Mike Schmidt passes Mickey Mantle with his 537th home run. That would put him into 7th place. And we'll go one more for you before we head out. 2009, the 80th All-Star Game. The AL wins 4-3 at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And that is your look at tomorrow in sports history.
So now we go to baseball in yesterday's date in sports history, as the Washington Nationals opened a series in New York against the Mets, and in need of a win. After losing 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh, they needed a victory. In fact, I think they need to sweep this series.
They're not going to sweep, I don't think.
They
need to. I would like for them to sweep, but I don't see them sweeping.
Tanner Roark has struggled on the mound, no doubt about it. He's scheduled
3-11.
Yeah, 3-11. The ERA 4.76.
Yeah, but that's spiked about a whole point in his last 3 or 4 outings.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's not awful. It's not a great ERA, obviously, but he, like the other Nationals pitchers, have not gotten a ton of run support. So, if Roark can go out and throw well tonight and, they can get the win in this one, then obviously you got a chance to sweep because you've taken the first two. But we said coming into the week they needed to be 5-2, maybe even 6-1 in this road trip going into the All-Star break.
6-1 is out the window now.
That one's out because they lost 2 in Pittsburgh, meaning they've got to sweep these games. Right now, they're, 1 game better than 500 with the win last night, but still out of the playoff picture, 5.5 back of the Phillies, who beat the Orioles last night by a 5-4 score. So the Nationals are in a situation where scoreboard watching has to start soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, if it hasn't started already.
Right. And we'll see what moves the teams around them make with the trade deadline looming just a couple of weeks away. And what moves will the Nationals try to make? What was one that we saw earlier, and it didn't seem likely. It was an article that we were kind of glancing through.
Manny Machado.
Yeah, that was mentioning 12 possibilities for Manny Machado, and they listed the Nationals in that list, and I thought, okay, no.
Yeah, well, it was bench Daniel Murphy, move Rendon to second base, and then so you're going, okay, I get Daniel Murphy's having a little bit of a slump, but you're going to bench Daniel Murphy?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
And, of course, you think if they bring in Machado, that spells the end of Harper.
Yeah, because they can't afford both.
Right, you can't take both of those.
Again,
but
I don't think Harper's going to be there next year regardless.
You really don't?
I really don't. I think he wants to explore. I think he wants to go get big money somewhere, and I don't think the Nationals are going to be the highest bidder. I find it hard to believe that the Nationals will be the highest bidder.
The year that he's having and the struggles that he's having at the plate
I'm not
this
saying
year,
the contract's going to be as big as it was at the beginning of the season,
Right.
or the preliminary guesses of how big a contract would be for Harper after this season. But I still think he's going to get a hefty sum somewhere, and it's not going to be in D.C.
Does it have to be somewhere that presents him an even better chance of having postseason success than what he has right now in D.C.?
Where's that?
Well, that's what I'm wondering,
I mean, you look at the talent level and what he's done throughout his career, you can't put yourself in much better of a situation. Name me somebody in the NL other than, I'll give you the Cubs and the Dodgers.
Okay.
Those are about the only 2 other teams in the National League that have had as much of a chance or put themselves in a position to go to a World Series. I think the Nationals, the Cubs, and the Dodgers are those 3 teams in the NL. So he's not going to put himself in any better of a situation unless he goes to one of those 2 teams in the NL. I don't see him going to Houston. I think while they don't have any massive contracts, I don't think they're going to have some younger guys that are going to start to need contracts coming up here in the near future. So I don't see him going, I don't really know who, the Yankees have always been an option.
Right.
They've been one of the I don't want to say front runners. They've been one of those names that's been there, having Judge, Stanton, and Harper in the outfield.
That's an all-star
dynamic
outfield.
combination. Yeah.
I mean, there you go.
So, but again, I don't know who in the AL is going to give him that much better of a chance than the Nationals have had over the last, 4 or 5 years.
So do you like Machado going to, I was reading the Indians are in need and could potentially be one of the teams to make a move. He would stay in the American League, or could you see him going to a National League team?
I don't know. I think Machado is, again, you're talking a little bit of apples to oranges here because you're talking trade for somebody, or if you're Harper, a free agent situation.
Right, because the Nationals are not going to get rid of Bryce Harper.
No, they're going to keep him and then hope to be part of the bidding process at the end of the year. The Orioles are looking to trade Machado. So you're talking about a completely different situation about where these teams, because where Machado goes is based on who is going to give the Orioles what they want, and Harper is based on what he wants to do. So it's a completely different kind of mindset going into the All-Star break for those 2 different players.
Well, Bryce Harper will be a part of the Home Run Derby on Monday night. He'll face off against Freddie Freeman in that opening round. Harper with a little bit of a warm-up last night as he hit what would be home run number 23 on the season.
Blevins at the belt. Tall left-hander ready. And he deals. And a swing and a long drive to right field for Harper, sending Nimmo back to the warning track to the wall, and it's gone! Bryce Harper with a soaring fly ball deep into the night, his 23rd of the year. And the Nationals have some insurance on a 2-run Harper homer. It's 5-2.
Well, they would prove to need that insurance as the Nationals would get the win 5-4. Max Scherzer, his 12th victory of the season, finally got a little bit of run support.
And Anthony Rendon keeps his hot streak up. The non-All-Star.
Yeah.
And how does this dude not make the All-Star game?
I don't get it. Unless, I guess, there are some pretty good third basemen in the National League that edged him out is the only thing that I could think of. But you'd like to at least think that he could have found a way on the team as a reserve.
And you also got to think, Rendon is the shining spot in a batting order that isn't all that productive right now. I mean, he's got good numbers, don't get me wrong, but do you think his numbers look that impressive if Harper's hitting the way he should, if Zimmerman's in the lineup and he's hitting the way he should, if Murphy's hitting the way he should be? I don't know Rendon's numbers would look good, obviously, but would they look as good as they do right now compared to the rest of the lineup?
I don't know. You got to take it for what it is because right now the guys around him haven't been hitting on a consistent level. But if those guys can begin to hit, like you just talked about, the Nationals have a chance to, win this division and be in the playoffs, a position they're not in right now. Well, Rendon yesterday, very hot, hit not just one, but 2 home runs. Let's hear them both.
Anthony Rendon stands in. 13 home runs and 41 knocked in. First pitch belted. Deep left center field. This one way back, and it is gone. Goodbye. Just clears the wall in left center to the left of the 370 marker and lands in the party deck below the seats. Anthony Rendon gets a hold of a first pitch sinking fastball at 94 miles an hour and drives it out of here to left center field. His 14th home run of the year.
Breaking ball hit in the air to deep left field. Conforto going back on it to the warning track to the wall, and Rendon's got another one. That one clears the party deck into the seats and straightaway left. Anthony Rendon with home run number 15. He's driven in all 3 runs. It's a multi-homer game for Rendon, and the Nationals lead it 3-1.
Cleared the party deck.
I want to go to the party deck. That sounds like fun.
The ball missed the party deck. Hit it a little too hard.
Have you been up to Citi Field?
I have not. Have you?
I've not.
Yeah, I have not been to either stadium in New York. I've not been to Yankee Stadium, nor have I had a chance to be at Citi.
Were you at the old Yankee Stadium ever?
Never there, or Shea either. No, I've not been to a game in New York. Need to go. Boston need to go as well. Definitely would love to see Fenway.
Yeah, I've been around Fenway, but not in.
Tonight, they're back at Citi Field. The Nationals and the Mets. By the way, Noah Syndergaard gets the start for the Mets, 4-1 with a 3.06 ERA. So we'll see how those Nats bats handle a pretty good pitcher today.
Nats bats?
I didn't. That
was cute.
I didn't mean to go there. It just kind of came out that way.
Again, you don't know if you're going to get the 18-run Nationals or if you're going to get the shutout Nationals.
No, that's it. And Syndergaard, who's been battling through some injuries, has been pitching well. So the Nats need, against a good pitcher, to go out and get it done. And Tanner Roark is going to have to keep the ball down, as we learned after his last start.
Yeah, apparently, Davey Martinez gets paid how much money to let the media know that, he's not keeping the ball down, and we think that's his issue. You think that's his issue?
So now to figure out why he's not keeping the ball down, if they can get that corrected, maybe Roark can get back to his old self, and the Nationals can strengthen that rotation. Of course, Strasburg doing some rehab assignments, so hopefully he'll get back in the lineup shortly after the All-Star break. Where do we want to go next? Let's talk a little Summer League basketball.
Let's do it.
Yep, the NBA is holding their Summer League out in Las Vegas. We'll check in to see how Javon Carter is doing next on Miller Time.
If we hadn't hit the brakes, we'd have no idea. Paradise was hiding right here, dipping our toes.
You know why it's especially nice when you buy her a gift from our store? Because she knows the only reason you did it is because you love her so much. I mean, you'd rather be on the golf course practicing your chip shot, right? The golf course is like your home away from home. As for jewelry stores, you can't wait to get out if you do go in. Hi, I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. And guys, the good news is she really will know you did it for her. You stepped out of your comfort zone in a big way, all to please her. and she will love you for it. She knows where you'd rather be, and it really tickles her that you came to her home away from home. So come on in, and when she opens her gift and reacts to it, well, there's a good chance you'll find yourself in our store again. Yes, because you love her, and because you love how she loves you for loving her so much. Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South in Inwood, will have you in and out before you know it, and you'll still have time to practice your putting.
What words come to mind when you think of Honda? Reliable should be one. Fun, that's a good one. How about stunning, comfortable, refined? I could go on, but there is one word that sums up every Honda. Quality. Because Honda was KBB.com's 2018 Best Overall Brand, and we worked hard to earn that honor. Because without quality, nothing else you call a Honda matters. So whether you choose the sizzling Civic, acclaimed Accord, adventurous HR-V, fearless Fit, awesome Odyssey, conscientious Clarity, remarkable Ridgeline, polished Pilot, or sporty CR-V, you know you're getting Honda quality that's truly unmatched. In fact, we make sure of it. So visit your local Honda dealer and get into KBB.com's 2018 Best Overall Brand.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 Brand Image Awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
Do you hear that? Nothing beats the sound of summer, unless it's finding a way to make cleaning your pool easier. Now you can with Pool Life. Our complete line of premium pool care products is the easiest solution under the sun for crystal clear, clean pool fun. Get the most brilliant clean ever seen all summer long with Pool Life. Only at fine pool dealers like John's Pool Supplies, close to Gold's Gym on Eagle School Road in Martinsburg. Ask about quality PDC hot tubs. Phone 267-2000 or go online at johnspoolsupplies.com.
Excuse me, ma'am. I can take you over here.
Yes, I have been grocery shopping here for years, and you are my favorite cashier.
Wow, thank you.
You're quick. You can field anything on the belt. Nothing gets by you. Will you sign my orange?
All your favorite players and a reason to get excited? There's a place for that. Nationals Park. On July 22nd, your Nationals take on the Braves. And the first 10,000 fans ages 12 and under will take home a kid's batting helmet presented by Harris Teeter. Get your tickets at nationals.com.
Going to pull my Dana Holgerson as we welcome you back.
We'll talk some Mountaineer football at the top of the hour.
Yeah, we will.
Go until 6:30 tonight, taking you to Washington Nationals baseball, 6:30 pregame, 7:10 first pitch from Citi Field. Everywhere else is 7:05. For some reason in New York, it's 7:10, but
Miami tends to do that too, don't they? And it's 7:10 when the Nats are down there to play the Marlins. So
most other places, it's 7:05.
I wonder if it has to do with the TV contract. You know, whatever the local regional
most
TV station
stations
is.
have a pregame that's a half hour long at least. You'd think that 10 minutes wouldn't matter. It's the same guys.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, we'll take you there at 6:30 with the Nationals pregame with Charlie and Dave. So
that would be an interesting question, though. Why do games start at odd times?
5 hours.
Right.
I mean, the Super Bowl. What is the kickoff of the Super Bowl every year? 6:47 or
there's
it's always some random time. Or
right.
Even when you get to the World Series, first pitch is at 8:08 or
8:23 or something.
It's something random. Like, why?
I guess you've got to back time all the different things that you have to get in ahead of time, and you go, okay, if we do this starting at 8.
Pick a 5-minute increment.
Right, but what happens if the anthem goes long or the announcement of the lineups goes slightly long, or maybe it's in there for...
Then you start late. Are we in a world right now that needs to start at the exact time or the space-time continuum will blow up or something?
You work in an industry that is time-based.
Yeah, I know that.
It has to be right there. Boom, get it done. Now this.
Yeah, radio is a little different than TV is.
But it's still all based
TV,
on the
you
same
can
thing.
See, yes and no, because when you're at the Super Bowl, you can see people warming up. When you're watching the Super Bowl, not at the Super Bowl.
When I'm at the Super Bowl, monkeys will fly.
When you're watching the Super Bowl, you can see stuff going on in the background. There's the national anthem. There's 800 people commentating on 80 different channels. I'm not sure anybody would notice if it started 10 minutes late. I mean, somebody would because there's one at every crowd, but
yeah. Well, there's probably an over-under on that in Vegas when they start on time.
There's
Yeah,
an over-under on everything in Vegas.
Oh, speaking of Vegas, going on right now.
That was a transition and a half. What?
Bang. The NBA Summer League going on. Javon Carter, drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies, has had, I guess you'd say, a pretty decent summer league, thanks to Anthony Bracken and our crack research staff of one, Anthony Bracken, putting together some numbers from Javon Carter so far. He's coming off of his best game points-wise. Just yesterday against the Thunder, he played 26 minutes and scored 19 points. His previous high had been 11 points in 22 minutes against the Magic back on July the 8th. So point production-wise, coming along. When you look at his totals through the summer league, 57 points scored in 163 minutes, and it's an average of just about 23 and a half minutes a game and about 8.1 points per game.
It's not bad for through 4 games.
Actually, it looks like 2, 4, 6, 7 total summer league games.
I guess they only keep records for, because they're 2-2 right now.
Right. So this is in the Vegas Summer League. So I'm not sure about some of the other games.
Okay.
Because they played back on the 2nd against the Hawks, the 3rd against the Jazz, the 5th of July against the Spurs, the 7th against the Pistons, the 8th against the Magic, and then the 10th and the 12th against the Kings and the Thunder.
But yeah, pretty good summer so far. I mean, for a guy that a lot of people were saying was being brought in for his defense, you can add the pretty stellar offense to that, and that's not too bad.
Yeah, averaging 4 assists, but 2 turnovers a game, so something to work on there.
That'll come along with this. I mean, the defenders can close in on a pass a lot more now than they could in college and in the other levels of basketball.
The other thing you like is 31 rebounds or an average of 7.8 a game. So just under 8 points and 8 rebounds a game for a guy that's a guard.
He's scrappy, though.
That's it.
He's getting in there, and he wants the ball. That's part of the whole defensive mentality.
And that's part of the mentality that the Grizzlies really liked and wanted from him is the defense. So the 8 points a game, you'll take. That's a bonus. That's icing on the cake, if you will. If he can continue to play good defense and help to grab you 8 rebounds a game, you'll definitely take that. He's 7 of 10 from the foul line. That's 70%. Has not shot well adjusting to the longer NBA 3. Just 4 of 24 from beyond the arc. That's 16%.
Well, that takes time.
Yep.
You're used to 4 straight years you're shooting threes at a certain distance, and then, hey, let's jack that. What is the difference in college to pro when it comes to three-point lines?
Anthony's on it.
Isn't it like 3 feet?
It's a decent distance.
Yeah, it's not like it's inches or anything. So that's something to adjust to. But those stats, while they're good and you may look at them, or while some of them are good, some of them you're looking at going, not sure how good that is so far. He's going to be coming off the bench.
Right.
So you can get that kind of production from a bench player. That's not bad at all.
No, not at all.
I wish the Wizards had somebody like that off the bench.
Speaking of the Wizards, I was just going to say, and he's a rookie. I mean, obviously, he's learning the game right now during this summer league, and then before you know it, camps will be opening for the NBA as they get things underway in October. That doesn't seem that far away. The Wizards 1-3 right now in the summer league out in Vegas. They'll take on 2-2 Dallas tonight. That'll be at 6 p.m.
Is it 6 p.m. there or here?
I think it's 6 p.m. there.
Okay.
So, yeah, we still got to wait a little bit. But, man, we'll see if the Wizards can begin to turn things around. Just something about I hear Wizards in 1-3 and go,
that makes sense.
I hate to say that, but all right, stay tuned. We've got more Miller Time coming up. You're listening to Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg.
Now your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. She was one of 3 people who broke into the home of a man 50 years her senior and assaulted him. And 5 years from now, she'll be eligible for parole. 27-year-old Carrie Ray of Martinsburg was originally going to have to serve 13 years before that eligibility kicked in, but had the time reduced on appeal due to the circuit court allowing into the record both her prior bad acts and statements made about her by a co-defendant. The appeals court also ruled it a case of double jeopardy, as Ray was convicted of 3 counts of robbery for the same robbery. According to the Herald Mail, 22-year-old Isaiah Daniels of Martinsburg was charged Tuesday night after police seized more than $2,500 in cash, a 9mm pistol, 3 bags of marijuana, and a digital scale after responding to an investigator reported breaking and entering at a Georgetown Square residence. The SUV Daniels was driving was searched. That's where police found Daniels' ID. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
With your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Our Friday evening bringing very comfortable temperatures into the area as we drop back through the 70s. Fair skies. Overnight's low near 65 degrees with clear conditions on into tomorrow morning. Saturday, sunny and bright, turning warm. In fact, hot by afternoon with a 90-degree high. On Sunday, warm and humid, partly sunny. Late day high 91 with a few thunder showers. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
For the last 34 years, the Martinsburg Bulldogs have been heard on Talk Radio WRNR.
Leaping into the air, Cello Tenenbaugh has it. Is he in the end zone? Yes, he is. It's a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown just inside the pylon and keeping his feet in bounds on the far sideline. Tenenbaugh pulls it in.
Join Matt Miller, Vic Holmes, and Jason Colrick for all the 2018 football action on your home for Martinsburg football, Talk Radio WRNR, the Panhandle Sports radio station.
Hey, Lisa, how are you? It's been so long. Are you back for good? What's going on?
Hey, good to see you. Yes, I'm back for good and just trying to get my life back together.
Well, I'm so happy that you're home. It looks like things are going well. I've been seeing those pics you post of you and your family at all those fun events. What gives?
Oh, VetTix. VetTix gives.
What's VetTix?
VetTix is an amazing charity that gives free event tickets, like concerts, sporting events, and shows, to currently serving military vets and their families, and to the immediate families of troops killed in action. It's a really nice organization.
That is so nice.
These events have helped me feel like myself again, and all these new happy memories my family and I are making are priceless.
We have extra tickets sometimes. Can I donate them?
Yes, it's easy. Just go to vettix.org. You can give your extra tickets, and other vets like me can sign up to get them.
Awesome. I love that idea. What a great way to give back. I'm so glad you told me about it, and it was amazing to see you. And listen, thank you for your service.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time. Along with Matt Crawford, I'm Matt Miller. We are just about 4 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock, taking you to the bottom of the hour at 6:30 when we'll join the pregame for Washington Nationals baseball. The Nationals in New York for Game 2 of their series against the Mets. The Nats took Game 1 last night 5-4. Tonight, Tanner Roark on the mound for the Nationals. Noah Syndergaard getting the start for the Mets. First pitch at 7:05. By the way, Russell Goodacre, friend of the show, we will say, gave us a text message during the break to say both stadiums in New York, Citi Field and at Yankee Stadium, are two stadiums worth going to. We need to go.
I will get there as quickly as possible.
We'll have to make a road trip.
We will. You've not been to Wrigley yet either, right?
Not been to Wrigley, no.
You got to go to Wrigley.
Definitely want to go.
You got to go to. You got to go to Wrigley and Fenway first because you got to get the old faithfuls out of the way.
Okay.
Because you don't know how much longer they're going to be there.
Come on.
You'd like to think forever.
Yeah.
But you just never know. Somebody new buys the team.
Yeah, but with the renovations that they just did at Wrigley and, adding scoreboards and seats and, changing some things around, I think there's a commitment level to keep that ball.
I don't think
there.
Wrigley's going anywhere, but you never know with Fenway. Again, you never know. But at some point, you never thought the old Yankee Stadium would go anywhere, did you?
Well, that's true. And 1994, my wife and I went to visit some of her family in Detroit, and the conversation was going on then about Tiger Stadium, and ultimately Tiger Stadium is no more, and Comerica Park is the home of the Tigers. And, you look back and think Tiger Stadium, one of those same old ballparks built in the early 1900s, just like Wrigley, just like Fenway.
Fenway, there you go.
I was going to say, it just slipped right through my head because I was thinking even of the old Yankee Stadium that was pretty old as well.
I mean, the ballpark at Arlington.
I don't understand what Texas is doing. I don't know why they needed a new ballpark. The ballpark at Arlington seems to me to still be pretty doggone nice. and it's not that old. I mean, it's younger than Camden Yards.
Yeah.
It was built kind of in the mold of a Camden Yards.
Camden Yards was the beginning of the new era ballpark.
1992, bang. Let's start building ballparks like they used to that are just for baseball, not the cookie-cutter concrete stadiums of the 60s and 70s that were for both. And, yeah, it took off from there, and Camden Yards is still, right there at the top of great ballparks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why the Rangers decided they needed to do something, but they're building a new one down there. Right now, I just want them to play better.
You don't care where they play. You just want the product
play in a
to be
cow
better.
pasture down in Texas if you want. Just win some ball games. All right, we're going to turn our attention to football. Before we go off to college football, we started the top of the show talking about Leonard Fournette being a little frustrated that his ranking on the new Madden game wasn't quite as high as he wanted. He was a B player, not quite an A player. He's a B-plus player. Not quite an A player. All right, whatever. Let's go to a more serious matter with Terrell Owens being elected to the Hall of Fame, but saying he's not going to be there for the induction ceremonies. He's going to do his own thing down at the college that he went to in Tennessee. And so the Hall of Fame coming out saying, look, if you're not going to be there, we're not going to spend a lot of time congratulating you. You'll be mentioned at the beginning as here's the class. But when it comes to, all of the introductions and so forth, you're not going to be here. We're going to focus on the ones who will be.
Well, you missed the big reason why T.O. isn't doing it. He's not doing it because he thinks he was shafted and it's a year too late. He thought that he should be in the Hall of Fame last year when it was his inaugural class that he could be inducted, and now he's butthurt about that. So he is doing his own thing and not going to be in Canton.
So wait a minute. It's like, I really wanted ice cream tonight, but we didn't have any ice cream. So tomorrow night, Mom comes home with ice cream and says,
I don't want ice cream now.
What do you mean you don't want ice cream now?
I wanted it last night.
Now that we don't have it or didn't have it, I don't want it?
Yep. That's exactly. It's childish.
Yes.
It's childish. Both examples are childish. But I also think that the NFL and the Hall of Fame are being childish as well.
Really?
Yeah, they're saying, all right, you don't want to be a part of us. We're not going to be a part of you. Take the higher ground. Say, you know what? We voted you in, and if you don't want to be a part of it because you want to do your own thing, that's fine. We may not spend I don't expect them to still have somebody come out and read for him and do the unveil without him. But the fact that they came out publicly and said, well, if you're not going to be here, we're going to take our ball and go home too. I don't think their solution is any better. Now, if they would have not said anything and just gone about their business and not done anything about him individually, then I don't think it's a big deal at all. But the fact they felt the need to come out and publicly say it as kind of a jab back at T.O., to me, that's childish as well.
Well, the executive director of the Hall of Fame, Joe Horrigan, simply made a statement on a Hall of Fame sports talk program. It's a website. They do some of their own online radio as well. He said and I'm quoting, the focus is on the guys who are here. And that's the idea behind it. So, when it comes to the yellow jacket, when it comes to the unveiling of the statue and all of those things, we're not going to spend a bunch of time. If you're not going to be here, then we're just going to roll right on and focus on the guys who are here.
Yes, I think that's an okay philosophy. I don't like the fact they felt the need to publicly come out and say it. I didn't feel the need for a defensive jab back at T.O., because I think that's kind of what he wanted. Knowing the history of T.O., I'm sure he wanted some sort of argument and some sort of reason to get into a little bit of a back and forth argument with somebody. So I think they could have just gone about their business and not done anything, and nobody really would have noticed.
You could always rescind the induction. All right, if you don't want to be a part of the group.
No. He said he wanted to be a part of the Hall of Fame, but didn't feel the need to be a part of the Hall of Fame induction thing.
Well, how do you do both?
He's T.O. And you can't rescind a Hall of Fame induction for the guy who's number 2 on almost every receiving list on the face of the planet.
Well, certainly, if he's going to be upset because he had to wait a year longer than he feels like he should have, what about the other inductees? And I'll just read this one. This is out of that same article off of that Hall website. It says, It's about all 8 inductees, not just Terrell Owens. And then it adds including former Green Bay star Jerry Kramer, who has waited 45 years for this opportunity. Hey, T.O.,
get off the high horse.
I was going to say, quit feeling sorry for yourself and making it all about you when
you're talking about the guy who went to the center of Cowboy Stadium and dumped popcorn in his face mask. It is all about him. It's always been all about him.
I don't know. I didn't mind that because I'm not a Cowboys fan. So.
Well, neither am I. I mean, you know me. I can't stand the Cowboys, but I thought it was great when he was a 49er. He went and spiked the ball in the middle of the star. But again, it's always been about T.O. It's always been me. You're talking about the guy that held a news conference in his front yard and lifted weights without a shirt on.
Doing sit-ups.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been the T.O. show.
Well, it'll be the T.O. show, but not at Canton. He'll do his induction. Oh, and the T.O. show has to go first. It seems that he's going to go earlier in the afternoon with his induction speech and whatever his festivities are at his former college in Tennessee before the actual induction ceremonies will get underway up at Canton. So, all right, let's go college football. We've got an interview, had a chance earlier, well, really just before we went on the air for today's show, to catch up with Adam Stilley, former center for the Martinsburg Bulldogs, who a season ago spent a redshirt freshman year as a member of the West Virginia Mountaineer football team. The Mountaineers have a quarterback that is being considered for the Heisman. They have a team that is being considered right now as the number 2 preseason pick in the Big 12. We caught up with Adam to ask him about those things, but we started with, well, just the opportunity to be a Mountaineer and what last year was like.
It started off really good. I got there in the early June session with a bunch of other guys. I worked out all summer. I've put on a lot of weight since then. Over the summer to the beginning of the season, I gained about 10 pounds. I went there at 260, got to around 275 by the season started. And I had a pretty good season. I played on scout team, but took a lot of reps. I feel like I've gotten a lot better. And since then, I've gained 22 total pounds. I'm up to 282, and I'm feeling a lot leaner. Feeling a lot better.
So I know the obvious answer is it's extremely different, but what has it been like, the transition from the high school game to the college game?
It's been difficult, but compared to my fellow teammates, especially the ones from West Virginia, I feel like I've done a lot better. Being from Martinsburg, being from those coaches, the way they prepare us is it's unmatched in the state.
You've got Diamante Lindsay, a former Bulldog, up there with you, and you're looking to have another one come to join you here this fall in Tavis Lee. You've got Trayvon Wesco up there as well out of Musselman High School. How good is it to have some guys around you that you might be familiar with?
It's real helpful. It's real helpful. I'm still good friends with Diamante. We talk all the time, and I'm very close with Tavis. I'm excited to have him coming up here. Probably hang out with him a lot, and Wesco too. He's a great guy, and we talk about just the area, Martinsburg, who's going home that weekend, just things like that.
The season last year kind of got away from you towards the end of the year. Was that sort of an emphasis going into this year's offseason, is you've got to find a way to play a complete season?
Yes. We've been training extremely hard this offseason. And last year, I think we had a good season. We just didn't finish the way we wanted to. So this whole offseason has been a huge emphasis on finishing workouts, finishing reps, finishing plays, just finishing everything.
Some big expectations. You've got a quarterback that is going to be in the running, at least at the beginning of the year, for the Heisman. Hopefully he'll have another solid year and be there at the end of the year. You've now been picked number 2 by the media to win the Big 12. How do those expectations kind of rest on you as you head into this season?
Well, they're obviously exciting. Everyone's excited to see how the season turns out. We know we have a bunch of guys coming back. We've got a great team this year, but the number one thing that we are focused on right now is just beating Tennessee.
What does the schedule look like from here until that Tennessee game for the football team?
We're finishing up. We have 2 more weeks of tough summer workouts, and we get a few days off to come back home, and then we start up August camp.
When you look at the transition that we've already talked about, what has it been like for you along that offensive line, and how close do you feel you are to being able to get in there and really get some solid reps?
I feel like I'm coming a long way. Really working hard, putting the time in. I think I had a good year last year. Took a ton of reps on scout team, and I ended up dressing for the bowl game. So I'm hoping to dress this year, and never know. We'll see what happens.
You were a center in high school. Is that your main position at WVU, or do they look to have you at other places on the line?
No, I've been center the whole time I've been at WVU.
All right. Now, in your senior year at Martinsburg, you had to learn to snap left-handed. Is it an advantage to you on the college level to be able to snap with either hand?
I think so. Yeah, I switch it up during practice, and I think it's fun. And if there's like a guy right over my right, sometimes I'll just snap with my left. Makes it easier having the offhand.
How do you evaluate this offensive line overall? How good are you going to be up front in being able to keep Will Grier on his feet and give him that opportunity to throw the football?
I think we're going to be good this year. I know we got a lot of guys coming back. We got some great leadership with Yadni Kajust and Colton McKivitz, our tackles, and we're really solid. I think we're going to be good this year.
How much of those guys in those senior leadership positions really taking guys like yourself under their wing to teach you and have you prepared to keep things rolling?
Oh, it's been huge. Those guys have been great, really great. They're always helping the younger guys, wanting us to improve. They have us in there watching extra film, extra meetings, going over plays. Just getting more time in to be more prepared for the season.
I know you just said you'd only dress for the bowl game, but what is a Saturday like in Morgantown on a game day?
Oh my goodness, it's unreal. It's like nothing. If you haven't been there, you got to go, because the stadium is just electric. There's so many people. Everybody is just on their feet the whole time. It's ecstatic.
How much does that help you guys on the sideline when the crowd's behind you the way it is at Morgantown?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. You can literally feel the energy, and when everybody's screaming, everybody's yelling, it's deafening for the other team. Our fans are the best. Best ones out there.
Does that help to push you a little bit in times like this, where right now you're kind of going, man, I'd like a break. It's hot. It's the middle of summer, but you got to keep pushing through. You guys constantly practicing, lifting, and working out to get ready for game day. How does that motivate you?
Definitely. Because I love this state so much, and I love all the people in it. And whenever I'm really just like 6 a.m. workouts, really tired, just think about the state and think about the fans, and that's why we do it.
Adam, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the summer, and we'll look forward to talking again as you get into the season.
All right, awesome. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Adam Stilley, former center for the Martinsburg Bulldogs, now with the West Virginia Mountaineers, and the Mountaineers with some high expectations coming into this 2018 season.
Extremely high. What is it, number 2 in the Big 12 in the preseason?
There you go. And a quarterback, a Heisman hopeful, a wide receiver who could
also be a Heisman hopeful.
Yeah, there you go. Would that be interesting?
Have 2 guys on the same team battling it out for the Heisman.
Mm-hmm. I'm not throwing it to you because you might beat me in the Heisman. No, we want to win this game. I'm throwing it no matter what. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun in Morgantown this year, and you can catch all the play-by-play right here on Talk Radio WRNR. Well, we'll keep talking some college athletics when we come back, as we'll get a little bit from the Mountain East Conference, replacing 2 teams that left, including the Shepherd University Rams, the official announcement of Frostburg State moving to the MEC. More on that when we come back on Miller Time.
The WVU Medicine Spring Mills office building is now open. This new 3-story, 40,000 square foot facility is conveniently located off Interstate 81, exit 20 at the intersection of US 11 and Campus Drive. The WVU Medicine Spring Mills medical office building features many different offices and services for area residents. It's now home to urgent care, women's imaging center, lab services, and primary care pediatrics. The WVU Medicine Spring Mills office building now open to serve you.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved at Rotary.org.
It's local church programming every Sunday morning. At 7 a.m., it's Living Waters Family Coffee with Pastor. At 7:30 from the Full Gospel Pentecostal Church, it's the Avenue of Prayer. At 8 o'clock, it's Home Time from the Back Creek Valley Full Gospel Church. At 8:30, it's the Apostles' Call from God One Ministries International. And at 9 o'clock, we join the Centerpoint Bible Church. 2.5 hours of local church programming on Talk Radio WRNR, FM 106.5 and AM 740, your leader in news, talk, sports. When it comes to protecting what matters most, it makes sense to choose an insurance agent that's a part of your community. Your local Allstate agent knows the ins and outs of both owning and protecting a home in your neighborhood. By choosing a local Allstate agent, you get an expert who knows the community and is committed to getting to know you, which means you'll get the protection that fits you and your life. Are you in good hands? Contact Martinsburg Allstate agent Gary Kelly today for a free quote at 263-4596. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company.
What words come to mind when you think of Honda? Reliable should be one. Fun, that's a good one. But there is one word that sums up every Honda. Quality. Because Honda was KBB.com's 2018 best overall brand. So whether you choose a sizzling Civic, acclaimed Accord, or sporty CRV, you know you're getting quality that's unmatched.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 Brand Image Awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
20 years ago today. I didn't realize. I thought it was longer than that.
Pretty sure John Lennon's been dead for like 40 now.
Yeah. Wonder, I have to look it up, what year that song came out.
It was in the 60s at some point.
Well, Anthony Bracken is on it already. I can see his fingers quickly working through his phone. All right.
We did get an answer to the last thing.
Oh, that's right. Anthony looked up the difference between the three-point shot in college and the three-point shot in the NBA. And let's a round of applause here. This is for Matt Crawford, who got it right. He said, I think it's about 3 feet. He was accurate. 20 feet 9 inches in college, 23 feet 9 inches in the pros.
I impress myself sometimes.
So Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. What year did that come out? So congratulations, you were correct on that. And of course, we were talking about
what
that
do I win?
Relationship to Javon Carter and his three-point shooting percentage, not real strong right now in the summer league, but adjusting to that longer three-point line. So we just gave it to you. You won that round of applause.
Sweet.
So, all right, do we have an answer? 1967. That song is as old as me. There you go. That was the year I was born. So, all right, let's jump into some more college athletics, and let's do it Mountain East Conference style. The MEC losing a pair of teams at the end of this upcoming year. UVA-Wise and Shepherd University both making announcements that they will be leaving for other conferences in the 2019-2020 season. So 1 year left. The MEC was going to have to replace them. They needed someone, and we heard early on it could likely be Frostburg State. And today, they really made it official with a media conference that was held up at Frostburg State. The Mountain East Conference website providing us the audio as we bring you. First of all, I'm not sure we got the time. Let's jump into just the athletic director. We were going to play you just the introduction from Reed Amos, but we can paraphrase that. The commissioner obviously
excited to have Frostburg.
That's it. Excited to have them in, believing that they really fit the mold of the Mountain East Conference as far as institution, academics, size, but most importantly, location, to be able to, blend in with road trips and getting athletes to and from events. So now we hear from Frostburg State Athletic Director Troy Dell, and these were his remarks.
I'd like to turn my attention to kind of just giving you a little bit of an overview of how we got to this point and why this is an important move for us. We joined the CAC in 2011 to put our students in a place where they could play against like institutions, play in a higher level of competition, play in a geographic footprint that was small and in some of their home locations. Over the years, the footprint has changed dramatically, which has forced us to look at other alternatives, to be more open-minded. You know, departure of 2 schools in 2012, 2 more this summer. A third just announced that they're leaving. So over the time period, the geographic footprint has changed dramatically and changed who we're competing against. We decided last summer when Wesley College and Marymount University announced that they were leaving to do a feasibility study on Division II, to go through the process, see what how our institution aligned with Division II. In doing that process, we were committed to exploring that, seeing what it had to offer, and doing it in a timely manner. Shortly before the NCAA convention, Dr. Nowacek and I decided to reach out to Commissioner Amos and just kind of do a meet and greet. Just introduce ourselves, say hello, because we thought the Mountain East might be a place that someday down the road might be a good fit for us. Turns out we got to that meeting and the Mountain East was potentially going to have some membership change, or he thought that maybe he was hearing some grumblings that there were some folks who were looking around. At that point, we increased our conversations. They intensified. We decided to continue the feasibility study and explore the Mountain East, at the same time, which led us to a pretty hectic spring of going through the membership process with the Mountain East and the feasibility study. There are a lot of pieces and moving pieces to these decisions, folks, and I want to thank everybody for the expeditious manner in which this was handled. You got to realize that as you do this, these decisions aren't made in a vacuum. They're made with a lot of thought and a lot of time and a lot of energy. And all of this timeline feeds into that. Just to give you a couple things about what lies ahead. As Commissioner Amos alluded to, the NCAA Division II process is very rigorous. We will begin that process immediately. We are also in the process of finding affiliate memberships for 2 of our sports, which are not sponsored in the Mountain East, which are field hockey and men's lacrosse. We are committed to those programs, and we will find good homes along with the assistance of the Mountain East for those programs. Finally, I want to just let everyone know that there's a ton of work to be done on this campus. There will be numerous committees forming. We will be reaching out to faculty and staff and students to work on those committees and be part of this process. As always, I'm sure I can count on the folks on this campus to step up and help us move through the process and put forth our best application to NCAA Division II, as well as make the Mountain East proud in the near future.
That is Frostburg State Athletic Director Troy Dell as they are joining the Mountain East.
So they aren't officially in Division II yet, but they're a part of the Mountain East Conference. How does that work?
Well, again,
I know they're applying.
And they will not play, just like Shepherd and UVA-Wise making the transition to their new conferences. They won't be in those conferences until the 2019-2020 season.
I got that. But they're talking about an application and making the school look appealing to go to D2. What if for some reason, I assume they have prior knowledge of the fact that they will be approved to go to D2 before making this move, right?
And that is one of the comments that was made by Reed Amos as the Mountain East Conference Commissioner, that this acceptance of them into the conference is contingent upon their receiving that Division II status from the NCAA, which, again, they should hopefully be able to do. What it does for the MEC, Mountain East had 12 teams, 11 that played football. They lose 2 teams in Shepherd and UVA-Wise. They add 1 in Frostburg State, and Wheeling Jesuit, who was in the league, is now playing football, so they're back to really having 11 football-playing members.
Yep, should be interesting to see what the Mountain East does with that Shepherd.
Stay tuned. We've got Washington Nationals baseball coming up next.
Back in Washington, D.C.
right field. Giving chase to right fielder Gonzalez toward the corner, looking up at the wall, and it's gone! Ryan Zimmerman is now the all-time home run hitter in Washington, D.C. baseball history. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Swing, Rogers, deep